Oh, she screamed and she cried.
Oh,
Hey, I know. I started crying a bit there. I started wiping tears and telling them, hey, I was asking, what's going on? And they're saying they're not sure why.
yeah,
And
because they
then,
could
yeah,
tell that I had caught an infection.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And-
now that was the worry. I had caught an infection.
Eesh.
And I remember at that point when the doctor told me that, I was so heartbroken in that moment. And I looked to him and I was like, I failed. My body's failed. Oh, I remember that feeling. It was so shoo. Because I was like, how can this be happening? I had done everything. I had prepped, and then I'm crying to him, like in the pain from the drip, pain of contraction still. And I'm like, my body's failed. I can't do it. Like, why is my body failing me? Hi guys.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back to our channel, The Segos. I am Michelle.
And I am Anele.
And on today's video, we will be sharing Ayakha's life story.
Yes.
Yay, finally. But quickly before we do, we just want to thank you guys as always for all the support, the love. We are on almost 900 subscribers, imagine. Yeah, and we're so grateful for that. Thank you so much, guys. Really, there's so much we can say, but we really appreciate you. We love sharing what we can, and we hope it's making an impact.
Absolutely. And
So,
we
yeah.
also just want to let you know prayer requests and all the things that were shared in the comment section.
Yeah,
We are living up to that. We have
definitely
been making prayers for those whom we did promise prayers.
definitely.
And we'd love to hear testimonies as well from your side
Yeah,
of whether those prayers have been answered yet or the answer's still coming.
absolutely. We definitely take that very seriously in this house. But yeah, straight on to it, because there's quite a bit to cover in terms of our story, and we are hoping it's not extensively long, but beautifully put together and enjoyable for you guys. And
we'll try and make it short.
Yeah, we'll try and make it short. But yeah, Ayakha's birth story.
Yeah, that was the 16th of May, isn't it?
Yeah, bro.
But that's not where we're starting, eh?
That's not where we're starting.
All
we are
right.
starting on the 14th of May.
Yeah.
The evening of the 14th of May.
Beautiful day.
We were watching Bullet Train before we slept. So just to set the scene, the evening of the 14th of May, as usual, we were just bonding, and we decided to watch a movie, which was Bullet Train, and I had chosen it. Usually Anele allows me to choose the movies on Netflix because his movies can be a bit interesting.
Bullet Train was interesting.
It was interesting. It had Brad Pitt in it, so
Michelle just loves comedy. That's
comedy, rom-com sometimes, but great movie. And then afterwards we went to bed and we cuddled a bit. And
not just a bit. We cuddled quite a lot, actually. And you must be honest. How?
And then went to bed and we slept, and then around 3 a.m. 4 a.m.
3 a.m.
I woke up feeling pretty wet, right? And then I touched the bed, I touched the sheets, and it was wet, and I was like, oh boy, have I peed myself? No, this hasn't happened during the pregnancy, so is it what I think it is? And then I woke up Usurla, and I told him, I'm feeling wet, I think.
And when she told me that, I was thinking, oh my word, I'm so sleepy, I'm so tired, and you're feeling wet again, but then she let me know that no, it's not what I was thinking. She made it clear that no, she's not talking about that. I'm like, oh, all right. And for me, I was obviously expecting to see what you see in movies and on TV, when the water breaks, people just scream and jump, and then there's a huge splash. But that wasn't happening. This was just trickling down. And then she tells me it's like I'm peeing myself. And then so I think, oh, all right, you know what? I'll give you an opportunity
To go check.
To find that out.
Because when I stood up out of the bed, it was like there was just this liquid that came out in like a mini gush. I wouldn't say like a massive dramatic gush, no, a mini gush. And then I was still not convinced. He was convinced, and I remember him even saying, "Oh my goodness, it's happening!"
Yes.
You know, he woke up, he jolted up, and I was like, "No, relax, maybe it's not it. Let's not get ahead of ourselves." And I went downstairs. I did pee, and then I put on a maternity pad, and the liquid still continued coming out. And like, also they tell you that it has a sweet smelling thing, because I had done a lot of research. So I smelled it and I was like, okay, yeah, it smells kind of sweet.
I didn't smell it. I didn't smell it.
And the bed also, like, it didn't have a smell. It either doesn't have a smell or it has a slight sweet smelling scent. So that's what was happening really with the liquid in the pad. So I was like, yeah, definitely it's happening. And then he thought, now we're probably going to go to the hospital. But because of videos and research I had done during the pregnancy, I had watched a video, which we ended up watching together, of this qualified doula, you know, who specializes in like home births and just birthing naturally and all of that, which is what we were trying for this time around with Ayakha. She advised that if the waters have broken and it looks normal, there's no like funny smell or it's a different weird color, then you can just wait for contractions to start naturally at home. So that's what we were doing now, like that's what we were trying. So we then tried to go back to bed.
I was very surprised, and I think I need to applaud you for this. She was so calm. She was so calm.
I was surprisingly very calm this pregnancy and most of labor.
And I wasn't panicky, you know. But I was obviously alerted that all right, things are happening, because I was expecting it, you know. And so when things are starting to happen, like things are happening, I Google, and it says, and you know, Google with its very, very panicky responses. You need to go to hospital immediately. And she was calm. She was like, no, I watched this video, let's watch it together, you'll see. And we watched the video. It was around 3:30 now, 20:3 a.m.
And we did call the hospital, because you should call the hospital to inform them, because if you go past a certain time when your waters have broken, there's a higher risk of infection. So we did call them to notify them that, okay, my waters have broken. They advised for us to come in, but I mean, we're like, oh, okay, but we didn't, of course, go in immediately. And then we went back to bed, woke up around 8, did everything as normal, prepared Amava, who was blissfully asleep until she woke up later on in the morning, and made everything ready. And we waited for labor to naturally happen. Also informed family, who were very excited. We're like, are you going to the hospital yet? The hospital yet? And then we had to inform them of our plan, which I'm sure they were like, these ones. I'm not sure what they were thinking.
But they were all the way in South Africa. So.
So they couldn't really say or do much, but they did check in regularly throughout the day. And we just waited and waited, got ready, of course, bathed, all we could do. And then I think around 4 p.m, that's when I was like, okay, because I had my bouncing ball, so I was bouncing on my ball, my birthing ball. And that's when I think I felt like, okay, the contractions kind of coming. I can start feeling something that's intense, but not super intense. But at that point, it was now 4 p.m. So we were just also, I guess, being super cautious as well towards the end of the day. And another element we need to mention is that Amava, of course, also we had organized with a dear friend of ours for her to be taken care of and to stay at her friend's house. Andrine, if you watch this, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It was so
you
helpful.
were amazing. So amazing. She gave us so much peace, which we needed at the hospital to be able to bring Ayakha safely into the world. So we had to consider that as well. So we couldn't stay home longer. Also, we don't have a car. We needed to Uber.
So expensive.
So expensive, because we moved out of Manchester City center, and that's where the hospital was. You know, we didn't change hospitals because we didn't want the whole admin thing. And we were so late into the pregnancy. So yeah.
Now, when you were having your first contractions, how was it feeling?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't. I mean, from what I can remember, comparing the whole thing, I know the initial feelings and the initial contractions were doable. They were not bad. I think at the time I thought, oh yeah, now things are happening. But looking at the whole picture,
it was nothing.
It was nothing. It was absolutely nothing.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, but there was starting, but it was absolutely nothing. Yeah.
All right. Well, we went to hospital. When we got to hospital, we sat there. They were going to monitor her. We waited quite a bit. I went down to get
some food because I was a bit hungry now at that point. Hadn't eaten.
I think it was bananas.
Yeah, bananas, and then you got me like a
sandwich, a wrap. Yeah. And then after that, then we left her, Amava and I left her, and you had to go drop off Amava. Then we went to drop off. I went to drop off Amava, and then got back to hospital.
Yeah.
By that time, that was around.
I think it was past 6.
Yeah.
Because when we got to the hospital, it was now 5. I think you came actually back around past 7. I remember. Yeah,
because
7.
she asked me for food. She asked me to stop by at Subway and get some food. So yeah, I remember they were closing at 7 at one Subway, so I needed to go to another one. And yeah, so it was around 7. I got us food. Then I got back to you around 7:30. Yeah. And then what was happening there?
So I had been waiting, guys. So the thing is, in the UK, the NHS, which is the National Health Service Provider, setup that they have here, they're a bit, I guess, short-staffed in a way. It's a beautiful hospital that we gave birth in. Most of the hospitals here are actually really lovely. Well, we've been to one really so far.
I was wondering, what are you talking about?
So
we've seen them on YouTube.
I take that back. Yeah, we did watch them through YouTube though, and yeah. But anyway, so it was a beautiful hospital, St. Mary's Hospital in Manchester. But I wasn't the only pregnant lady there in that waiting room.
Yeah, obviously.
There were quite a few, and I guess it's lovely. So the midwives are really lovely, but I mean short-staffed. So I had to wait quite a bit to be attended to, and I was hoping because my waters had broken that it would be like a quick thing, because the way they had made it seem to me, it was like you are obviously priority, your waters have broken, you're at risk of infection already, you've been at home for this prolonged period of time. I think at that point my waters had broken over 8-10 hours or so, or 12 hours, or actually more than that. I'm not too sure. I'm not going to do the maths now. But it was quite a period of time since my waters had broken. So I thought I wouldn't wait too long. And by the time I nearly came back, you'd find me in like a room and the whole thing bouncing on a ball. That's what I thought. And he's going to find me in reception, waiting still. And eventually when I was seen, when the contractions were still far apart by then, they would come like, I feel like every 20 minutes or 10 minutes. They weren't really like frequent or had a proper pattern, but they were coming, and I'd feel them and I would stop and and I at that point I'm feeling it's more intense, but I'm like, I'm handling this though, like I'm doing well, handling this good,
And we were seeing others around us struggling.
Yeah, we were seeing others around us struggling, especially late on in the evening. We were like, but soon after we saw that one woman struggling, I think that's when it started as well for me. So pap.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's like a flu. She caught the flu.
But eventually when I was seen, the lady like checked me and like my water still looked fine. There was no change in the color or anything. And then they advised that we could go back home. But then I told them that home is very far. We already dropped off our daughter, and I mean we could go back and then things ramp up, and then
we have to come back.
And then we have to come back. So then they were like, okay, no, it's fine. We'll organize your room. We're just getting it cleaned up. There's one that's available, but it's being cleaned up. So then we went back to waiting. Okay, while we're waiting,
things begin, eh?
Things are now getting more intense.
Yeah.
I eventually go to the toilet, and now I'm seeing on my pad that there's like a pinkish, color, like pinkish discharge, or the water's a bit pinkish and stuff. So I'm like, okay. I go back, I tell Anila about it, and he's like, okay, just go tell the midwife. Go to the midwife, I let her know, okay, my discharge is pinkish.
Put you into the monitoring room.
Yeah, they put me into the monitoring room where they checked me initially. They even give me gas and air because my contractions are like, I'm telling you, good CC. Because I think that before then they'd given me painkillers, did absolutely nothing. I'm like, CC, it's getting rough now. They're like, okay, love, okay, sweetie. They're very sweet, very wonderful. Even though they're very busy, but like she then gave me the gas and air thing. Gas and air. I think we have a picture. I'll put a picture on the side. And then it took a picture of me using that. It was Vele in that room when we were still in that room. So then they're like, okay, they're going to get me into a delivering room now. Because now my discharge, I think they thought it was pressure on the cervix. So now it's starting to bleed. Things are starting to happen. I'm like, okay, finally. And I'm like, okay, that's good. I'm not going to get induced. Because we had waited for that room where we were going to be in, and 24 hours had passed since my waters had broken and nothing had happened. I was going to get induced, which was going to speed up labor, and we didn't want that. We wanted things to happen naturally so that I could hopefully push this time around. Right?
Yeah. And I think one lesson from that to everyone, if you're in hospital for your own things, and you see others struggle, don't think others are struggling. You're next. Go on.
So we then end up going to that room. Beautiful room as well. I don't think we took any pictures, unfortunately. Yeah, we were just like, oh, this is a lovely room. You could even see the little bassinet, hospital bassinet thingy where they're going to put the baby in front of you. And it's like, oh, I'm going to push, and then they're going to put Ayakha there, and then there's this lovely room. And there's a midwife, who's attending to me. She was very lovely. I forgot her name, unfortunately.
The midwife?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't remember also.
Yeah, but she was really lovely.
It was Jennifer.
I'm not sure about that. But she was really, really lovely. And we were then there. We're like, okay, things are happening. My contractions were now getting intense, really, really intense.
And our plan was natural birth. We didn't want a C-section. Wanted natural birth, and Michelle had done really well to ensure that her body was healthy and everything was just progressing the way it should be.
Yeah, I had really tried.
And she was exercising.
I was actually quite fit during this pregnancy. Considering how I was prior to pregnancy. Like, it was just so weird. Not that I wasn't exercising before, but it's like I clocked it when I got pregnant, what worked for my body. But anyway, we're now in that delivering unit, and I've got the gas and air still, but contractions are now much closer. And Ellie's there cheering me on. It's like, oh, babe, you're doing so well, you're doing so great. But at that point with the midwife, I had asked now for stronger medication because I wasn't trying to go through it unmedicated. I was open to the fact of using, pain relief and things like that because I didn't want to suffer. I didn't want to suffer too much, but I had done really well with the contractions. And the contractions, they were like, and I remember asking the midwife, is this as bad as it's going to get? She was like, no, love, it's still going to get worse. And I was like, And that's when I was like, okay, can I have some pain relief? Which was like, I was offered an injection. This was before the epidural. I know the epidural is the one that's really popular. But this was like an injection I was supposed to then get that was going to come with the doctor. Because the midwife had explained the different pain meds. And I was like, okay, no, this one is fine. I'll go with this one. So we're now waiting for that one because the doctor was quite busy seeing other ladies who were also on the delivering unit, right? Okay, fine. How are you feeling there?
I was feeling a bit cold in that room.
Even
so
got a blanket.
I asked for blankets.
Yeah.
And they got us blankets. And then, yeah, well, I was just monitoring Michelle, and she was fine. And by then, your contractions, like you were saying, were starting to be painful. How was that feeling? What kind of pain is that?
So I was telling Annette soon after giving birth that it's funny if you had asked me while I was going through those pains, what does that feel like? Maybe I would have been able to describe to you. It's like it's an indescribable pain. It's like intense. It's horrible. But probably I would have had more words. But now, if I'm trying to put myself back there, it's like I can remember how a period pain feels like, or how stabbing your toe or something feels like. But that particular pain, I think it's so traumatic that the brain just wipes it out. That's why women end up having multiple kids, because I can't remember for the life of me. I was like, I try and think of it, and I think of that moment, and I can picture the room and everything, and I'm like, how was I feel? I can even remember how cold I was and the shivers, but then the actual pain at that point,
nothing.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I just know that it was intense. Like, it was just when it would come, because it comes in waves, so I can say it comes in waves, and it grips you,
and you'd grip
and it's
me,
like,
and she'd grip me, and I would feel the pain as well.
So I'm holding onto Annette, and I'm like, I'm trying to be strong, but it's like I can't even do anything. Oh my goodness, it was next level intense.
Yeah, all right.
So yeah,
but we stayed in that room,
going through those contractions.
Yeah, and then the midwife left for a bit.
Yeah,
and this was around maybe 3:30 a.m.
Yeah. So at that point now it had been 24 hours.
Yeah.
But now, because my contractions were closer together, it's like, okay,
let's give it a chance.
Yeah, let's give it a chance. And then we forgot to mention that before we got to the delivery unit, while we're in that other unit now, waiting for the delivery unit, when my colors had changed to pinkish, the midwife had then checked me
for dilation.
Yeah, for dilation. And it was still very high up or whatever, and we weren't discouraged at that point because things had just started picking up. So we thought that now, with the intensity of the contractions, my cervix surely is now gonna open up and ripen up, and all of the things that medically say.
And the thing is, the baby dropped low very, very early. Probably 7 months.
She was really low really soon.
She was already in position to come out. Her head had dropped already.
Yeah.
So that's why we didn't think there would be a problem with them having a natural birth.
Yeah, we were really confident, because I remember with Amava, I even told him she was higher up.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
She was higher up, so we were just like, yeah, no, definitely.
This one is coming.
The signs, the birthing, like there were just a lot of positive signs.
Yeah.
Leading up to this birth, but anyway.
Yeah, the cervix
leading up
dilate.
It didn't dilate. So leading up to 3:30.
Yeah. Oh. Now we're falling asleep. I was starting to fall asleep. She seemed like she was sleeping.
I was also kind of sleeping, but then woken up with contractions, just impatiently waiting for this injection to come.
Yeah.
But then it's like in a split second of an eye, whatever, out of the blue, I start shivering like crazy.
Hey. Yeah. Hey, things change, eh? Things change. She tells me that she's feeling cold. I give her the blankets that I have.
Yeah, I was just suddenly so cold.
She tells me, I ask her like maybe 3 minutes later, I'm like, are you feeling a little bit of a difference?
No. And I'm just, because initially I was like, I'm feeling cold. And I'm just like, okay, I'm shivering. I'm allowing myself to shiver. The room was cold.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it's the room. But now I'm like, initially I'm like, sometimes when you feel the shivers of the cold, you're like, you allow them. So I'm thinking I'm allowing it. But then eventually it's like, no, man, I can't stop this. And I'm shivering uncontrollably. And I can feel myself going pale. I don't even know how I look like to him. But I look pale. I could hardly talk. Mind you, contractions haven't stopped.
They're still going through as well.
So I'm
and a bit
trying
more
to
frequent.
They're even closer together now, and I've got this thing. The midwife is coming in. Are you okay? What's happening?
I went to fetch her.
You actually went to go fetch her. Went to go call the doctor, who was still, because I was still waiting for her to come for the pain medication. But now they had to ramp things up, because it's like I'm getting very poorly, as they would say. in the
Yeah.
UK.
Hey.
Hey guys.
Yeah, and the doctors speak and they tell us that they monitor her again and figure out that her cervix still hasn't dilated.
Yeah, so they check me while I'm in the most pain, contraction happening. Check me, it's pain. So you know the checks are not nice, eh? It's not like, oh, let me just check you, let me just touch you. It's like literally hand up there.
But that wasn't the worst.
Yeah, that wasn't
I think the worst was they were trying to put on a drip on you. Oh, and I don't know, I think they put it on wrong, whatever.
Yeah, I think I still have a scar from it, actually.
And when they pump the medication, she screamed and she cried. Hey, I know, I started crying a bit there. I started wiping tears and telling them, hey, I was asking, what's going on? And they're saying they're not sure why.
Yeah, because they could tell that I had caught an infection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that was the worry. I had caught an infection. Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Yeah, they asked us, do you still want to wait for the pregnancy to progress
naturally,
or do you want C-section? And they advised C-section, but
because they were now worried about the baby. They also mentioned that they're not too happy about the heart rates of the baby. And the minute you tell me anything about my kid, man,
it was a clear decision.
It's like us. Okay, I would have loved to push, but my cervix is not opening up. These contractions are intense because the cervix was shut closed. And I remember at that point when the doctor told me that, I was so heartbroken in that moment. And I looked to him and I was like, I failed. My body's failed. I remember that feeling. It was so sure. Because I was like, how can this be happening? I had done everything. I prepped. And then I'm crying to him, you know, like in the pain from the drip, pain of contraction still. And I'm like, my body's failed. I can't do it. Like, why is my body failing me? You know, he encouraged me. He was like super sweet and all of that. And just telling me that, no, I'm not a failure. My body did not fail me. You know, he was proud of me, etc., etc.
I didn't say etc.
The thing is, I'm trying to remember everything, but I was also highly emotional, so I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember every single thing that you said.
Okay.
But I know that you were very supportive, and also I'm trying not to get emotional. I'm trying to be a thug, stay strong. But that was a very difficult moment, and I also felt really bad. I think I apologized to him for seeing me like that, which is, I mean, come on. I was just so like trying to not make it about, you know, I'm so sorry to see me like this, and screaming with the, you know, drip and everything.
What I had to do there was just to be there to support her, to be strong for her, and also I was also being honest. I mean, she had done so well. I monitored her throughout the pregnancy, monitored her throughout. She was honestly, she had her heart in it in terms of ensuring that everything goes well, everything goes smoothly and natural birth. She was very prepared, did a lot of research, was eating a lot of spinach as well. That spinach made this child super strong, and she's got so powerful neck muscles. But anyway,
and she's a strong baby.
Hey, sometimes I'm a bit worried and intimidated, you know.
And she's got the straight
when
face,
she's crying, and then she like, hey, I'm gonna get beaten up. Yeah, Popeye spinach.
Oh, guys, my word,
But she did so well. So it was very, very discouraging to hear that C-section is the best thing now for us. But but I was very proud of her, and let's go a bit quick. Maybe we don't know how long we've been speaking now. But they took her to the room with the operator. They took me to a separate room. Basically, they were just telling me what's going to happen, and then telling me that they'll let me in the moment that they've managed to set things up for her. And then I had to change.
While I was waiting for him, sorry to cut you, but while I was waiting for him, I was just like, where's my husband? Yeah, where's my husband? Because I was still shivering like crazy, guys, even when they put in the anesthesia, the spinal. And now I'm starting to feel the numbing and everything. I was still shivering like crazy. Like the shivering just wouldn't stop. And I guess it was because of the infection. And then like also because like I was now doing my best to not think of my C-section experience with Ayakha, because that was also pretty traumatic for me as well. And it was something that caught me left field, and the numbing in my legs also just caught me left field. And this time around, I just purposed not to think about it. But for me to be in that state, I needed him around to keep me calm. So I was really waiting for him, and I was struggling, and as usual, tears are flowing. And they're asking me to keep still because they have some sort of thing on my arm and they need my arms straight. And
blood pressure.
And I'm just struggling. And yeah, but eventually he came after what felt like forever. And I asked him to sing, which I guess I can call my favorite hymn. Hymn number 20. And he sang that for me. While they were cutting me up.
Yeah, cutting is an understatement.
Well, they were slicing me and tearing me.
But yeah, anyway, I told my friend, he said, "Oh, God, I shouldn't tell people this. This is traumatic stuff,
Yeah.
Because but you can have a look at the videos and you see, doctors, they do a lot. Wow, they do a lot. It was incredible. It was my second time seeing that. And I couldn't believe it, that what I saw the first time is exactly what I'm seeing the second time. And this time it was worse because she was shaking and crying, so I was very worried. But yeah, all right, that happened. The operation was happening. I was with her speaking, keeping her calm.
And singing for me.
And singing for her. And then, then the baby came out. Now this baby didn't come out like the first baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ayakha came out crying.
Hey, Ayakha came out guns blazing.
Yeah. This one came out quiet.
Go. I think it was like little, it wasn't really,
She was struggling.
Yeah.
And so they took her at the back, they took me with her. So like, I can come through. So I went and I saw there, she was having difficulty breathing. So, that was worrying. I was looking there, I had my mouth wide open there and my eyes wide open, wondering. But I wasn't asking, I was just standing. And they beat her back and they do CPR and they give her a mouth to mouth. Like,
he took a brief video of that, guys, and when I saw that video, I was so traumatized.
One lady said, I can take a video. Okay.
It was like a 17-second video, and I saw it after, and I was just like, no ways.
Yeah.
This would have ended me. Like,
I was watching, I had so much confidence in them, because they were calm. So I was also not going to start freaking out there. I'm seeing people are calm. So I'm like, all right, maybe then this happens. This is quite normal, They were doing it, and for a long time, like 3 minutes. It was quite a long time. And they were telling me, yes, breathe, baby, breathe. And she would try. And then they would do whatever they're doing again. And then I know. Eventually, that was good, yeah. I didn't even get to cut the umbilical cord because of that. Because there were two of them busy there with that. So yeah, but everything went well in that regard. And then after that, they gave me the baby. And then I held the baby for a bit. Then they told me, okay, do you want to stay with the baby or want to go back to your wife? I'm like, I don't know, let me go back to my wife.
Because I was waiting, hey guys, I was suffering.
Yeah, I told her, let me go back to my wife. The baby's fine, I'm happy.
Because I was worried. Sure, I'm like, where are they? I'm sure those, and I think it's the one lady is the anesthesiologist, and the other one is who was there? I forgot. Yeah, someone, whoever was there around
midwife.
me. There was someone who was monitoring me, though. I think the pediatrician might have been with you.
With me, yeah.
But I'm not sure. I think there was a midwife with me, and then
Yeah.
someone else was like making sure I keep that blood pressure thing on, and yeah, the anesthesiologist because of the spinal and whatever. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm shivering. Like, it's horrible. Where's my husband? Are they okay? Is the baby fine? They're like, no, don't worry, it's fine. He'll be back now. It's like they took, because the quickest part is literally when they're taking out the baby and they take out the baby.
Yeah.
That doesn't take long, and obviously, I mean, we skip by Ayakha being taken out. Always a beautiful moment, and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
And then there's
some took a video as well.
videos, with her, and just seeing her, and I'm like, oh my goodness, she looks so much like Amava. And just being so grateful and just in awe of that, and now just wanting the sewing back up process to happen quickly so that I can be with my baby and I can hold my baby and just make sure she's fine and she's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
She was out 5:30 on Thursday, the 16th of May, 2024.
Yes. Yeah, beautiful. Exactly 5:30 morning.
British time, by the way. British summertime, is it?
Yeah. Yep. Beautiful.
Yeah.
But I went to go afterwards, waiting. It's like they took forever to sew me up.
Yeah. But
and I was just there shivering like crazy.
Yeah. So when I went back to her and kept encouraging her still, and then I think things happened. She saw the baby, and I saw it. She started getting a bit emotional, you know. And I was also a bit emotional as well when I was seeing the baby, you know. But it was just amazing, an amazing thing to observe.
Yeah, and then I think afterwards, I mean, there was a time that I just became calm again, even though I was struggling with shivering. But there was a time I just became calm. Even the C-section, I think mentally I was better prepared for it, and I was mentally like I just accepted it soon after, you know, that brief moment of panic and distress where I told her, no, I feel like I failed, etc. But I think then soon after, I think God's peace or God reminded me that it's okay. And honestly, He's in charge. And I just stayed calm, and I was like, it's fine. I'm not less of a mom if I haven't pushed or anything, and it really is what it is. And I'm just grateful for modern medicine that allows for C-sections, because if not, you know, I probably wouldn't have been able to be a mom or whatever. But God saw me through, and it was just a reminder. Like He mentioned that I was very calm throughout the pregnancy. It was not because of my own doing. In my exercise sessions that I would have, I would always listen to the word of God, and that really kept me calm and reminded me that He's in charge, and I really shouldn't worry about this journey, because during pregnancy you can worry so much about so many things. And I did that with Amava. We explained in our first video, the video when we explained how pregnancy changed our marriage, how mentally a mess I was, and I purposed with Ayakha that I will not be in that same state, because number one, I have a child here looking at me physically, and then there's another one growing in my belly, and then I have a husband as well who I want to show up for. We're thousands of miles away from family. There were just so many factors, and I was like, Isaiah 26 verse 3, you will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed upon you, for he trusts in you. So that was my verse throughout the pregnancy. I've mentioned that verse before on this channel in a brief devotional, but the real reason for that verse was for my pregnancy. And God was there, and I was like at peace, because I think a lot of the time on social media, mommies and things will be like, oh, my body did this, I'm so amazing, da 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 da. My mentality has always been, God is like, I'm completely helpless. Like there's so much I can do. And I was even reminded during this birth, and we spoke about it a lot afterwards when we even have our devotionals and we reflect on it. We're like, we were just reminded of how helpless we can be, and how much God has to step in to make sure everything goes smoothly and works perfectly. Because as much as I can exercise, eat the spinach, drink the water, do all the right things and prepare, and I did everything, to be honest. I really did. And I had that peace that, you know what, I had done everything. Soon after I told her, and I feel like I failed, whatever, then God quickly reminded me that in my physical human capacity, I had done everything that I could, and that's fine. And this was now God stepping in, being like, despite this infection, wherever it came from, let me step in and show up for you as God. And he did exactly that. And that's why I really don't see it as a traumatic birth story. I see it as a beautiful journey and a reminder of God's grace. And yes, there were some lows, but that's how life is as well.
Exactly, yeah.
And the end was beautiful. And also, I think if we had forced natural birth with Ayakha for our own thing, because we want to really try the natural birth thing, that child, remember you told me that soon after she came out, she just had a huge poop.
Yeah.
So that would have been disastrous in the belly. It would have been disastrous if that had happened in the belly already, with her kind of briefly struggling to breathe and things like that. So furthermore, showing that God directed us and we just let it be, and
it was the perfect time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's that.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed our video and our experience. I'm sure some of you might have had experiences that are similar or different. We'd love to hear them in the comment section as well.
Definitely.
And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video with others, and also share your comments too.
Yeah.
And please keep watching, and we have more videos coming up soon.
And if you have any questions, please do let us know in the comment section below. I did put a question poll on my Instagram. We will be answering questions that we frequently got about giving birth in the UK, etc., that we're going to cover in a last video in this whole giving birth and pregnancy series. So if you have any questions, put them in the comment section below. I'll also put up a community post on our YouTube, and you can put your questions there as well. But until next time, guys, thank you so much.
Bye.
For watching. Bye.